Let's get one thing straight right away. If you think accounting is just for the finance department, the bean counters tucked away in some back room, then you are missing out on the single most powerful tool in your leadership arsenal. We're going to flip that old idea on its head and show you why accounting isn't a chore. It's the language of strategy. It's the language of success. So let's get into it.
So that brings us to the big question right up front. Is accounting just for accountants? As a leader, can't you just, delegate the numbers, let someone else worry about it? Well, the short answer is absolutely not. And we're about to explore exactly why that's a career-limiting and, frankly, a business-limiting move.
You see, not being fluent in the numbers is probably the biggest blind spot a leader can have. This isn't just about whether you made a profit last quarter. It's about understanding the very pulse of your company, its health, its momentum, its future. Ignoring this stuff, that's not just a risk. It's a gamble you can't afford to take.
I mean, this quote just nails it, doesn't it? Trying to steer a company without a deep understanding of its financials, it's literally like being a pilot who says, I don't need to look at the altitude or fuel gauge. You might feel like you're flying high for a while, but you have no idea if you're headed for a mountain.
Okay, so if it's not just about crunching numbers, then what is it? Here's the most important reframe. Think of accounting as the universal language of business, period. It's the one system that translates every single thing a company does, every sale, every hire, every decision, into a clear, consistent story. It is your ultimate source of truth.
And this diagram shows that flow perfectly. On the left, you've got all the business transactions happening, real-world stuff. The accounting system processes all of that. And what comes out on the right? Actionable information. Information that you, the leader, use to make the next set of decisions. It's a strategic loop, not a one-way report.
Of course, like any proper language, this one has rules. It has grammar. We call these things GAAP, generally accepted accounting principles. Things like the revenue recognition principle, which defines exactly when you're allowed to count a sale as revenue. These rules are what make the language reliable. They ensure everyone is speaking the same way, which builds trust with investors, partners, everyone.
Now, this language has two main dialects, and you need to know both. First, there's financial accounting. Think of this as the formal, public-facing dialect. It looks backward, reporting on past performance to outsiders, like investors. It's mandatory. Then there's managerial accounting. This is the internal conversation. It's forward-looking, optional, and it's all about giving you the data you need to make smart, strategic bets on the future. A great leader? Fluent in both.
So, how is this amazing story told? Well, it's basically a book with 3 key chapters. You can't just read one. You have to read all 3 together to get the full, unvarnished truth about a company's performance and its position in the world. Chapter 1 is the balance sheet. The best way to think about it is like a photograph. It's a snapshot of the company on one specific day. It lists everything the company owns, its assets, and everything it owes, its liabilities and equity. It all boils down to that one beautiful, fundamental equation. Assets equals liabilities plus equity. Why? Because every single thing a company owns had to be paid for, either with borrowed money or the owner's money. Simple as that.
And here's what it looks like in practice. See, on the left, you've got assets like cash, inventory, equipment, all the stuff. And on the right, you have how it was paid for, liabilities and equity. And here's the magic. Look at the bottom. Total assets, $770,000. Total liabilities and equity, same thing. It always balances. It has to. This gives you a crystal clear picture of the company's structure.
All right, on to Chapter 2. If the balance sheet was a photo, the income statement is a movie. It doesn't show you one moment in time, it shows you the story over a period, like a quarter or a whole year. And the plot is super simple. What did we earn, our revenues, minus what did we spend, our expenses? What's left over is our net income.
This is where you find that famous bottom line everyone's always talking about. You can see to here. You start at the top with your sales, you subtract all the different costs of doing business, and you work your way down to the final number, net income. Did we win or lose the game during this period? The income statement gives you the score. Okay, now for our final chapter, the statement of cash flows. And listen up, because this is so important. Profit is not the same as cash. I'll say it again. Profit is not cash. You can have a wildly profitable company on paper that goes bankrupt because it runs out of actual money. This statement is the reality check. It tracks the real cash, the green stuff, moving in and out of the business.
Now, this might be the most crucial lesson of all. These 3 chapters, they aren't separate books. They are deeply connected. Look at the arrows here.
See how net income from the income statement flows right into the balance sheet? It all ties together. If you only look at one statement, you're only getting a third of the story, and you will make bad decisions.
Okay, so we know how to read the story now. That's great. But leaders, the best leaders, they don't just read the story. They write the next chapter. And that means taking all this financial data and using it to drive real strategy and get your entire operation pulling in the same direction.
And check this out. Here's a great framework from IBM on how the best companies do it. They don't just report numbers after the fact. Number 2 there is the key. They integrate finance and operations. And then they use all that connected data to predict what's coming next. That's the Holy Grail.
And this is what that integration looks like. It's not a bunch of separate departments in their own silos. No way. The marketing plan, the sales forecast, the operational KPIs, they are all plugged into the same central financial strategy. When marketing launches a campaign, finance sees the impact in real time. That's how you build a high-performance organization.
So, what's the big takeaway for you as a leader? It's this. Becoming financially fluent isn't about you turning into an accountant. It's about giving yourself a massive strategic advantage. It's about knowing the right questions to ask your team, your CFO, and yourself. Think of this as your leadership dashboard. You use the income statement to ask, how profitable are we really? And where's that profit coming from? You look at the balance sheet to ask, are we strong? Can we weather a storm if one hits? You use the cash flow statement to ask, do we have the actual cash to fund our growth? And then you put it all together for the ultimate question. Is what we're doing every single day actually getting us closer to our big picture financial goals? So I'll leave you with this. Every number in your company, every line item, every report, it's all telling a story. It's the story of where you've been, where you are right now, and what your future could be. The only question is, are you listening?